Imagine you're walking through the woods with a child. They spot an unfamiliar creature hopping through the brush, point at it, and ask you what it is. Most of us will confidently supply a label. We'll say, "That's a brown-throated thrush." The child nods, satisfied. The mystery is solved. But something dangerous just happened. From an early age, we are conditioned to believe that acquiring the name of a thing is the same as acquiring actual knowledge about it. Once we stick a label on that bird, our curiosity shuts down. The conversation ends, and we completely miss the chance to observe how the creature actually operates in the wild. Few people understood this trap better than Richard Feynman, one of the most productive scientific minds of the 20th century. He mapped out the strange behavior of subatomic particles, helped build the first atomic bomb, and won a Nobel Prize for his work. Yet, despite reaching the highest tiers of academia, Feynman despised how institutions actually taught science. He hated the obsession with vocabulary and rote definitions. In his view, if you want to teach a human mind how to truly investigate the world, handing them a dictionary is the absolute worst way to start. Feynman learned this lesson in the 1920s, during summer trips to the Catskill Mountains. His father, Mel, a man who sold uniforms for a living, took it upon himself to train his young son how to think. While the other fathers in the neighborhood proudly walked their kids through the woods, reciting the local names for every animal they passed, Mel took a totally different route. Mel told his son that you could know the name of a specific bird in Italian, Portuguese, and Chinese. But when you finished memorizing all those words, you would know absolutely nothing about the bird itself. All you've learned is sociology. You've learned what humans living in different geographic regions decided to call the animal. Treating science like a glossary of terms reduces it to a trivial exercise in human semantics. It teaches us about language, not the physical reality we live in. Instead of stopping at the label, Mel would point at the branches and say, "Now let's look at the bird." He would draw Richard's attention to specific behaviors. He noted that the bird was constantly pecking at its own feathers, and then asked the boy why he thought it was doing that. Richard thought about it and offered a logical guess. The bird's feathers get ruffled when it flies, so it pecks at them to straighten them back out once it lands. Mel didn't tell him if he was right or wrong. Instead, he proposed a test. If Richard's guess was correct, the bird should peck its feathers a lot right after landing, and much less after it had been walking on the ground for a while. So they watched. And it turned out the bird pecked exactly the same amount whether it had just landed or had been wandering the forest floor for 20 minutes. Richard's guess was completely wrong, and that realization, the act of testing an idea against reality and finding the truth, is where the real joy of discovery lives. Later in life, Feynman saw this sense of discovery being crushed in standard classrooms. He routinely reviewed science textbooks that completely failed to teach actual inquiry. He cited one specific lesson that presented students with a picture of a wind-up toy, a car, and a dog, asking what made them all move. The textbook's required answer was energy. Telling a child that a dog moves because of energy explains absolutely nothing. It is just another memorized sound. If the student doesn't understand the mechanics of muscles, bones, and metabolism, the word is useless. For Feynman, a real scientific answer for a child shouldn't be an abstract concept. It should be a physical investigation. His suggested alternative was simple. Open it up, let's look at it. By demanding students memorize neat, prepackaged definitions, formal education strips away the messy, chaotic practice of actual observation. It rewards repetition instead of comprehension. Ultimately, science is not a catalog of impressive terminology. It is a strict behavior. It is the active pursuit of separating true from false by running experiments and gathering experience. In this pursuit, nature is the ultimate judge. No matter how elegant a theory sounds, or how aggressively a textbook promotes it, if it doesn't match physical reality, it is wrong. You cannot trick the physical universe. This requires a fierce intellectual independence. You have to be willing to doubt the experts, question the consensus, and recognize that previous generations of teachers are never infallible. If you want to cultivate a mind that actually understands the world, you have to let go of the vocabulary trap. Stop settling for the memorized name of a thing and go look at the bird.